InSTEM is a holistic mentorship and skills development program. We invite you to bring your whole selves into this virtual learning space. So before I turn it over to the experts, let's pause for a moment of mindfulness.
I'm Marilyn Mackiewicz, and I'm an assistant professor at Oregon State University in the chemistry department. I have a lab that works on nanomaterial synthesis, and we make nanomaterials for drug delivery and optical imaging. And I have several students that work on multiple projects that are very interdisciplinary between chemistry, biology, and engineering. A mentor is a person who has a vested interest in your academic and your professional career as well as your personal life. They are much different than advisors that you have in a school or university, where their primary job is to advise you on taking classes, making sure that you have research opportunities, getting you connected to the community. Mentors can talk to you about much more than taking classes. They're there to support you emotionally. They're also there to connect you with people, to sponsor you or advocate for you. They are going to be the ones that help you through a lot of difficult times in your life, whether that may be personally or academically. They are able to work with you to give you a much more focused path in life, be there to support you when you have difficulties, to help you navigate those difficulties. They can help you develop yourself professionally and academically, teach you about negotiation skills, and also teach you how to self-advocate for yourself. Anyone can be a mentor to you. There's different levels of mentorship, I would think. So you can have peer-to-peer mentoring, which is someone who's closer in age to yourself, or you can develop mentoring relationships with people that are much older than you. They can be male, female, different gender identities, different cultural backgrounds. The mentor, the primary person who's your mentor, can be someone that you feel connected to, someone that you can trust. And that's really, really important when you're thinking about finding a mentor. You have to be able to trust a person, and that person has your back whenever you need them. So someone that's available, someone who can empathize with your situation, someone who has knowledge in areas where you want to develop and grow, whether that may be professionally or academically. And you can also have inspirational mentors. So these are people that you might not necessarily be in contact with or who's going to be there to give you advice, but they're people you look up to and you look at what they do in society or institutionally, that you might think that they have great leadership skills. So there are people you can learn from who don't necessarily have a direct influence in your life. I didn't get a mentor right away as an undergraduate student or even someone in high school. I developed a mentoring relationship with my graduate advisor, Marcella Dansberg at Texas A&M University. At that time, I didn't even think about who my mentor could be or who would be a good advisor. I just knew that she was the person that was going to help me develop myself academically and professionally. After I graduated, I've still kept in contact with her, and she's always there for me if I need professional advice or even personal advice about being a woman in STEM field. And later on, I developed another close relationship with a previous student who also had Marcella Dansberg as an advisor. Her name is Dawn Mason, and she is an innovation technology manager at Eastman Chemical Company. And I would say that in addition to my graduate advisor, she has had a major impact in my scientific and professional growth. I met her in 2015 at a conference, and we had a 5-hour breakfast conversation about things that I wanted to do, but I was too afraid to do them. And I felt invisible at the time. And she showed me how not to be invisible, and that I really wasn't invisible. This was something that I had thought about myself, but I really wasn't invisible. And she told me about, having that bravery to go and connect with different people, even though they are in higher positions of authority than myself. And she told me, go talk to the provost, go make an appointment. And I thought, that's crazy. The provost doesn't know me at all. What would I even say to her? And why would she want to talk to me? And I remember having seen a coffee date with the provost, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go to this. And I went to the provost. I chickened out and I didn't go to the first meeting. And then the second meeting I went, and there was no one there but the provost. And I realized there was nothing I could do. She sees me, I can't run away. So I had to go into that room and talk to her, and I had nothing prepared to talk to this woman about. Today, she's one of my mentors just because I had the bravery to go and have a conversation with someone. There are informal mentorships and there are also formal mentorships. So with my friend Dawn Mason, we have never made any agreement about our mentorship. In fact, we've never said, well, I'm going to be your mentee and you're going to be my mentor. We have a natural friendship, and I get mentoring and coaching from that natural friendship. There are times that you do have to formalize a mentoring relationship, and I think if you're an undergraduate student with a professor, there's ways for you to create a mentoring compact, which becomes formal. I tend to think that those are good ideas, especially if you want to work on something very specific, and if you want to build trust with someone who's a complete stranger. You can do that to get the most out of your mentoring relationship, although I prefer to have them very organically and from friendships. So one of the important things about building relationships with anyone who might be a mentor, whether it's formal or not formal, is making sure that the people that you want as mentors are available. And if you need something, that they're available at least once a month to chat with you about the things, that they have to be accessible. As you get to know each other more, it becomes much more organic and much more about a friendship, and it can last for a really long time. Some mentoring relationships over time that start off formal might not end or stay sustained for a really long time. So some mentorships can be very short. As you're an undergraduate student, you might need an undergraduate advisor or a research mentor to help you, but then when you move on to graduate school, then you develop a different type of mentoring relationship. As a mentee, you have a huge role in the relationship with your mentor. One of the most important things to consider is foresight, meaning you should be able to think about what you need help with. How can your mentor help you with your career goals, your professional development goals? What do you want to do in your career? Because those are important things to consider when you're talking to your mentor. It's important to also respect their time when you do meet with them, and not just respect their time, but be respectful in your conversation with them. Also, to think about being proactive with your mentee, so your mentor. So come prepared to have a conversation with them. It shouldn't just be something that you do a quick check-in about, because everyone is super busy and have a lot going on. So be respectful of that time. One mentor could be mentoring, 30 different people all at the same time. So when you do meet with them, it's really important to respect their time and respect their advice as well when you seek it out. So the important thing to be able to do as well is to ask really tough questions. Don't be shy about what you want to learn, because remember that you want to benefit maximally from this relationship. I think if you aren't direct and you're beating around the bush, you're not going to get the most out of that mentoring relationship. So be proactive and ask really tough questions. So you want to make sure that the conversations that you're having are confidential and that you're respecting that conversation with your mentor, because they're going to do that. It's about building trust. So be polite, keep your appointments with them, stay focused, Don't overstay your welcome. So again, respecting the time. Show gratitude by thanking them for the time that you have together. Reciprocity, so repay your mentor by helping others. I think I've gained so much from my mentoring relationship with my graduate advisor, with Dawn Eastman, with my new mentor set. And I think it's really important to be able to give back to other people. And it's why I mentor a lot of students and why I teach about mentoring and how to build relationships with mentors. Feedback's really difficult for a lot of people. And I think oftentimes when we hear feedback, we take it really personally. Remember, you have a mentor and you sought out that person, and the reason you go to them for advice is because you're expecting feedback from them. And one thing Dawn Mason tells me when she has to give me feedback, and she knows it's probably something I don't want to hear, and she will always start with, now, I'm going to give you some advice, I'm going to give you some feedback, and I want you to remember that I'm not saying this to be nice, and I'm going to say this really kindly to you. And then she gives me the feedback, which might, in my perception, be negative, but it really isn't negative. I trust that she knows what she's doing. I trust that she knows me to give me that feedback and to see, what I'm missing that I can't see for myself. So as you build your relationship with your mentor, you're going to hear feedback from them, because the reason you went to them in the first place is because you needed that feedback. And you have to listen to it, really, really listen to it, and know that what they're telling you isn't to be hurtful. They're telling you something to help you improve, to give you a sense of, what are you doing wrong, or what you might not be doing right, so that you can get better. And that's one of the most important things about your relationship with them is expect that you're going to get feedback. They're not trying to be mean to you. And if something seems mean, take a minute to reflect on that. Take a day to reflect on that and really analyze what they're telling you. Does this make sense to you or not? Sometimes you hear feedback and maybe the mentor doesn't have all the information, and maybe you forgot to state something. I know when I need feedback, one of the best things to do is have a face-to-face conversation. Don't try to have long conversations by email. And I have done this before where I've tried to ask for feedback by email. I can't write everything that's going through my head. And I get feedback and I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted to hear. And I realize, wait, don't try to do something complicated by email. Have a conversation, especially if it's something that's really in-depth. So communication with your mentor is really important. If you have a very important, serious question to ask, you need a lot of feedback. Anything that will take you more than 10 minutes to say should not be in an email, should be in a conversation. If it's a quick question, then you do that by email. But if you have something that's really in-depth, do not try to do this by email. And remember to give yourself some forgiveness if the feedback is negative. And again, you're trying to improve. That's why you have this mentoring relationship. And part of that is teaching you how to grow as a person and how to think about things in different ways and different perspectives. And oftentimes, if you hear something negative about yourself, think, okay, where is this coming from? Is it for my benefit, or do they just really don't understand the situation that I'm in? And if you think they don't understand the situation, then you need to explain things or you need to clarify. There are times you do have to sever the mentoring relationship, and it's really important to pay attention to how things are going. If you feel uncomfortable by the person who's your mentor, if you feel that they're not understanding you, if you feel it's difficult to get a hold of them when you need them the most and they're never there, if they're not keeping to their commitment with you, if there's a power dynamic in the relationship, if your mentor starts developing romantic feelings for you, you would think about severing that relationship. If your mentor becomes verbally or mentally abusive, is taking advantage of you. Those are not the types of relationships that are beneficial to you, and you have to gracefully exit out of that mentoring relationship. One of the good things about good mentors is that they will continuously ask you questions to dig deeper into what's really making you feel a certain way. It's almost like having a therapist. What they will do is actively listen to exactly how you feel, and then they will ask a lot of questions because they're trying to get you to come to a self-realization about what's really bothering you. And oftentimes, really good mentors help you figure out your own solution. Mentors have the ability to help you develop a focused path in life. They help you achieve your goals, whether that might be personally or professionally. They are able to have empathy with you, help you navigate a lot of different circumstances that you might have. They help you deal with disappointment and help you celebrate your joys. Be that someone who helps others realize their potential, achieve their goals, elevate themselves, and become more of who they already are.
We hope you found this useful. For more videos in this series, please visit us at nationalmetals.org/InSTEM.